Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, my name is Sadhana. I'm an intuitive reader and healer. And I'm here doing intuitive card readings for your tarot card of the year. This particular reading is for the Hanged Man card. So if you've done your calculation and your card for 2022 is the Hanged Man, this is your reading. Okay, I'm using a Journey of the Sacred Bee and 4 different oracle decks to go with that, and I'll explain the spread as I'm going through. So let's switch the camera and just have a look at what's going on here. And I apologize, I know the lighting is not ideal. It's dark where I am, it's late in the evening. This is the Hanged Man. The sacred geometry in this deck is just really, really stunning. This is one of the major arcana where we're asked to pause. And this particular pause is one of the only way to move forward is to see things from a different perspective. And sometimes that means climbing to the top of a mountain and seeing a different view. Perhaps it means, walking a mile in somebody else's shoes. There's lots of different ways we can gain a new perspective. If you practice yoga, handstand against the wall, legs up the wall, downward facing dog. There's different ways we can look at this card. And I feel like there's a connection between the previous card and this card. So we might feel a little miffed about how justice was dispensed. If 11 was your if justice was your card in the previous year, or there's a sense of we don't understand why things worked out the way they worked out. This is a self-imposed timeout, but it's almost as if spirit directs us that way because the only way through is to gain a new perspective. Now, what does that look like in a lover's year? What does it look like? So the Lovers card is underneath. Lovers is there to remind me to talk about it because 2022, 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. 6 is the Lovers. So what does the Hanged Man look like? Well, if you're looking for romance, it doesn't really feel like a big year of romance. It feels like gaining new perspective and creating space to do that is absolutely necessary. So that simply might mean creating sacred space in your home. Maybe there's a nook in the forest where you can do that. But it also might mean some distance, putting some distance between something that you feel was not resolved in your favor. But remember that justice is always served for the greater good. Whether we understand it or not is a completely, completely different issue. All right, let's turn to the wands and see what the energy of the wands is for you for this year. I'll be carrying on with I'm doing one more reading after this, and then I will be doing several tomorrow as well too. And I'll get those thumbnails up later tonight. Okay, wands. So an excessive energy of wands. We see the shadow of the beekeeper in the distance. What does this card remind me of? This card reminds me of the Wildwood Tarot is a deck that I love to work with. And this is a very similar energy to the 6 of Stones in the Wildwood Tarot, not the Wildfire, the Wildwood Tarot. And this has to do with taking only as much as we need. When I see the Ten of Wands, and there's a sense of excessive fire, and you go in great guns blazing, and sometimes we forget that we're too strong. Our energy can be too much. And the consequences for that are that there's no flowers left the next season for the bees to collect pollen. Um, the key word here is oppression. So we need to look at relationships and be very cautious of interesting, because this, of course, is the card of relationships. So what I'm sensing is that maybe you have been too much, pushing too hard in one way or another, come on too strong. And so this Hanged Man card is giving you an opportunity to step back and do a little self-study. One of the positive aspects of that Ten of Wands is that a cycle is complete. Then we go back to the renewal of the Ace of Wands, but we need to be with this Ten of Wands energy and realize that we have indeed carved this path for ourselves, and we need to be responsible for our actions. This is the suit of action. It's the suit of will. Our passion is definitely reflected in this suit. And then the water energy below it is the Nine of Cups. Okay. So when I'm seeing these two cards here and looking at the Lover's card, looking at the Hanged Man card, I'm wondering if there have been very different mindsets, very different feelings in relationships that you have found yourself in. Because the Nine of Cups energy, while it is also, it's a lot. It's a lot of water. And generally is seen as a positive card. But again, it can be too much, right? Too much emotion. So we must be really mindful with excessiveness. And so maybe this reading is one of stepping into perhaps a depth year where we only use what we have. I just have this idea of, I'm sure you've seen on Facebook and different places where people, they decide it's going to be a no waste year or something like that. This may be, well, I'm sure there's something that's coming up for you already about an action that you could take to be less excessive. Okay, this is a perfect card. So this is the Knight of Discs. The Knight of Discs understands moderation. The Knight of Discs isn't in a hurry to get anywhere, to get the job done, to prove himself, to prove themselves. And the Knight of Discs is kind of looking across the reading, perhaps I was going to say disapprovingly, but not so much disapprovingly, but in, okay, maybe this is you reflecting at those experiences of too much and going, all right, I can do this differently. I can do this differently. So what is it about your voice, your thought, your mind that can help to make this a little bit easier? This is the suit of air. Hanged Man. One of the other words that is associated with the Hanged Man is sacrifice. So what does that mean? Sometimes that means we need to give something up. We need to release something. So that might be part of this lesson here as well too. Okay. Cards don't want to separate. It is a small pile, but yeah. Okay, so your air card. is the 3. This is purple. Libra. Purple. Okay, I know exactly where I want to go with this card. Keyword is sorrow. Two things. One, which is the second thing that came that I was sensing, is that you want to be responsible for there's so many things. I'm sorry. So when I do these readings, of course I'm reading the tarot cards, but I'm also listening to my intuition. And sometimes the messages come so fast and furious that it's hard to put into complete sentences. And I was hearing the word projection. So you want to be mindful of projection. When we are going through challenging times where emotions are everywhere, you can't assume how another person is feeling. One of the previous messages that I was getting was responsibility. Be responsible for your emotions. There can be a tendency when things are difficult for emotional diarrhea. And so sometimes containment is necessary for your own self-healing, for your own processing. And the Knight of Discs down below is okay with that. The Knight of Discs, there's a sense of comfort with that. But the first lesson here that perhaps is the most important is that feeling the whole experience and sitting with the emotions and sitting with the challenges and allowing yourself not to race through them, to be in them is really, really important. Accountability, right? Accountability. And there is, of course, a conversation to be had between the two purple cards that are on the table and the color purple itself. And so if you can sit with those emotions and be with those emotions, it's going to lead to the color purple, right? Love it. Color purple is high frequency energy. All right, so right now I'm shuffling a card to support the energy of the Suit of Cups, the emotional. This is the matching oracle, the sister oracle to go with the deck that I'm using. All right, so this is in the element of air. This is good. This is like a shift in the emotions. The keyword is breakthrough, but I'm feeling like a shattering of delusion, a shattering of illusion. Perhaps the happiness is projected. Perhaps the happiness is what you expected. Perhaps the happiness it's not genuine. And what this Hangman year about is a reset for that. It's to actually to create a happiness to create an environment where you are genuinely and authentically feeling in a place of beauty and you-ness, right? Not something that you were supposed to do or somebody you were supposed to be. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to reset and recreate an experience that wasn't what you thought it was going to be or supposed to be. Okay. The card next to the Ten of Wands asks you to, it's a reflection card. Again, asks you to be responsible. I don't think I need to say more there. You are as much a part of the situation as all the other players that are involved. And that's why the Hanged Man energy is so very, very important this year. It's going to give you a whole new way, a whole lens. It's going to give you a whole new lens through which to view your life, your job, your family, your relationship with your parents. We do have the relationship card underneath, so I'm sensing that this is going to be something to do with a relationship that is important to you. Kind of perfect card. Live from your heart. At the bottom of the soul tree, we have this beautiful melding of a few different colors that are connected with the heart chakra. And that energy is rising through the tree. That just sits so beautifully with the Knight of Discs there. Live from your heart. I don't like using that, talking prescriptively. Live from your heart. Be your authentic self. Okay? What is supporting the Three of Swords energy? Right. This is a repeat card. We have had this one already in this series. And this fits really well here. I have a sense that being off on your own is exactly where you need to go. There was a similar reading. Well, the Hermit reading, but it had a different flavor. This one really feels like, it almost feels like a justice reading. So maybe this is a response. If justice was your card for last year, maybe this is a response. It's almost like this year you're going to not give up, but it's time, right? It's time for you to take some space from what has been all encompassing. So this has been kind of a serious, right? This has been probably the least positive, the least cheerful reading that we've done so far, but it feels very, very real. So let me know if this resonates with you, and after some time, come back, and I would love to read your notes in the comments below. And I will be back in a little bit with the final reading for this evening, which is going to be the Death card. So thank you. Thank you for being a part of this series. Take good care. Namaste. Good night.